Today we are going to talk about histology. By the end of this topic, you're going to get all the essentials about histology if you're in the A level. Now, histology is simply the study of the microscopic study of tissues. What's the tissues? Let's do a little recall about the level of organization. We know everything starts at the level of cell, which the cell is a basic structural and functional unit of every living organism. That simply means the cell is the basic living part of your body. A group of cells join together to form a tissue. Tissues join organs. Organs, series of organs that carry out a particular function join to form an organ system, or simply a system. Several systems forms and organisms. Today, our interest is simply going to be talking about tissues. The study of these tissues is what is known as histology. In your body, there are not so many tissues. There are just four basic type of tissues. We have four main type of tissues, which is we give these four type of tissues based on the type of cells and the arrangement of those cells, and also the function of those cells. Those are the two main criteria that permit us to distinguish four types of tissues. Firstly, epithelial tissues, they are made up of cells that are closely packed. Connective tissues are made up of cells that are interspaced, and they have a ground substance in between them, and also fibers. Muscular tissues are characterized by contraction. They have contractile function. Nervous tissues, they are specialized and they are characterized. The characteristics is simply the membrane potential varies with time, and so they are able to transmit nervous impulse from one part of the body to another. Note that these four tissues join in relative proportion to give all the organs in your body. For example, your heart is made up of more of muscular tissues and a little of all these other tissues. Your intestines are made up more of connective tissues and muscular tissue, and a bit of nervous tissue and epithelial tissue. However, all organs of your body contains relative proportion of all those four main type of tissues. Our interest today will simply be talking mainly about the epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissues are a special type of tissue. We can divide them into two. We have those that covers the internal and external portion of your body, and we have those that have a function just to secrete substances. Those lining external and internal portion of the body are called membranous epithelium. Meanwhile, those that have specialized function just to secrete substances are called glandular epithelium. Let's look about the membranous epithelium and how they function. First, we call them membranous epithelium because of these main five characteristics. Cellularity, those type of epithelial tissue are made up entirely of cells. Look at this, they are made up almost everywhere is just cell. Polarity, the cells have two poles. They have an apical pole, this pole at the top, and they have a basal pole, which is this pole that repose on a basement membrane. Attachment, the cells are all attached together. They attach themselves together, as well as they also attach on a basement membrane. Vascularity, this epithelial tissue, if you look, they lack blood vessels. These epithelial tissues lack blood vessels. They call them avascular. Regeneration, the cells regenerate continuously and very, very fast. Function of this epithelial tissue, they have protective function, absorptive function, secretory function, excretory function, filtration function, lubrication function, and sensory reception. They carry out these different functions based on where they are found. Now, talking about membranous epithelial tissue, there are so many of them. How can we ease the classification of all these membranous epithelium? We can ease their classification based on three main criteria: the shape of the apical cells, the number of cell layers, and does the epithelial tissue has differentiated material or not. Talking about the shape of the apical cells, the cells can either be flat, called squamous, they can either be cubic, called cuboidal, or they can either be columnar, called columnar, or cylindrical epithelial tissues. Number of cell layers, if it is just one layer, we call it simple. If it's many layers, we call stratified. What if the epithelial tissue does not fall under simple or stratified? What do we call? We call pseudostratified, because all the cells repose on a basement membrane and they have several layers of nucleus behaving as simple and stratified at the same time. Now, the next thing that you need to know is the type of epithelial tissue and where they are found. Firstly, the simple squamous epithelium, they have lubrication function, they have lubrication function, filtration function, and diffusive function. You can find them mainly in blood vessels, lymphatic vessels, Bowman's capsule, and also in the alveoli. Next is simply the stratified squamous epithelium. They are stratified because they play a role in protection. They protect against mechanical injury. They line the mouth, the esophagus, vaginal rectum, and conjunctiva of the eye. Now, talking about